Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Productions and to the final episode of the S Club 7 TV series review. We have covered Miami 7, we have covered LA 7, we have covered Hollywood 7, but now it is time to discuss the fourth and final series, Viva S Club, which was released in 2002. For the first time ever, we are moving away from America for this series because the band are heading to Barcelona in Spain. So we're going to be in European territory now, which is going to be familiar territory to the band, seeing as they are from England, which is of course in Europe, but different country, that sort of thing. So yeah, like I said, this is the fourth and final series of the show. After this, they're done. The show is done after this. So the story is that the band have a new manager called Mr. Wendelbaum, and he sends them to Spain to see if they can achieve the same level of popularity there as they did in America. And along the way, they are given this new house, like a new home away from home, I guess you could say. And they're given a new agent in the form of Lyle, and they have a housekeeper called Maria. And it's Lyle and Maria that are basically the mentor figures for this new series. And basically they actually manage to take over a local club that's in Barcelona, and they call it Club S Club, where they serve like food and drinks to the guests and also perform there. So that really helps them achieve the level of popularity that they need to secure like another record deal and eventually head back to England to get fame there. So like every episode, or every season I should say, like every season, it's 13 episodes long, and you're all familiar with how long an episode is by this point. There are quite a few good episodes in here, but the one that actually mirrors real life, which is the one I will go over right now, is episode 4, Goodbye is the Hardest Word, which sees Paul leave the band. Yeah, it mirrors real life because Paul actually did exit the band in 2002, and they basically brought that into the TV show. So it was honestly, it was really sad saying goodbye to Paul. He basically confides in Hannah that he wants to leave, and then the rest of the band here, and they take it really hard. They try to persuade him not to go, but in the end, he does. It was just a very sad episode, but it mirrors real life, so I can't really complain about it that much. And then after Paul leaves the band, S Club 7 shortened their name to simply S Club, seeing as there's now 6 of them. My favourite episode of the series has to be episode 8, Spanish John, where John basically comes across someone who he believes is an ancestor of him, like an ancient ancestor. And thinking that he now has Spanish roots, John basically decides to embrace the Spanish lifestyle. And it basically changes him and all that sort of stuff. It's a very unique concept for an episode, but eventually it does get on everyone's nerves, and Hannah does manage to snap him out of it at some point. There was also an episode that I actually thought was very familiar, like a spiritual successor to an LA 7 episode. That was episode 11, Survival. And let me just say, when I say it was a spiritual successor to LA 7, I'm talking about the first episode of that show, Into the Unknown. Whereas in that one, the band, their car breaks down in the middle of the woods and they have to stay out in the woods. This time, the group get lost in the forest on a tour bus that they are given. And while they're away, someone actually nicks it. Someone steals their tour bus and it leaves them alone in the forest. And this time, and they basically have to survive in there with very little supplies. And they have to make do with what's around them. So, kind of like a spiritual successor to Into the Unknown. But maybe it might not be. I don't know where many people's views on that, so you know. Another episode that I thought was I thought was pretty interesting was episode 9, The Rain in Spain, where Joe becomes, well, more than just friends with a local Spanish footballer, and it turns out he's due for a transfer to West Ham, but Joe gets very close to him, and she actually doesn't want him to go. And when I say this episode is interesting, I mean we see a softer side to Joe. Like, she actually gets very upset about the fact that this guy could be heading off to England without her. And it really hit me, because most of the time we see Joe as this tough, tomboyish, no-nonsense leader type. But we actually saw her softer side this time. And I think that was a good idea. I think it was very good to see another aspect of Joe's character. I mean, we see different aspects of many people's characters throughout the series, throughout all 4 seasons, but it was just nice to see a different side to her. And it's not just the S Club who get their own stories. Lyle gets a story of his own, because he is actually in love with a waitress at a local cafe that they frequently visit. And all throughout the series, he's literally staring off into the distance, thinking about her. And everyone then basically tries to give him advice on how to basically win her heart, basically. I thought it was very cool that they gave the mentor figure his own storyline. Well, they did give Dean a few storylines as well, but Lyle's was a more overarching storyline, which I thought was a brilliant idea. And of course, the songs are back. There are new songs from their 4th album, Seeing Double. And these include the likes of Gangsta Love, Discotheque, Let Me Sleep, Hey Kitty Kitty, and a whole lot more. And we do actually get to see a few returning favourites as well. Like, in the first 4 episodes, we do get songs from their previous albums, like Don't Stop Moving and Sunshine among them. And even in episode 8, we see the return of Never Had a Dream Come True, which is one of my favourite S Club songs. And of course, we do have a new theme in the form of the single from the Seeing Double album, Alive, which they play in episode 12. And it's a very, very upbeat song, and I do enjoy it. I'd like it a lot. As for the S Club themselves, they haven't changed that much. Like, they're still the same, although their hairstyles once again have altered a bit. Joe has still got the cut hair thing going on from Hollywood 7. Rachel is going a bit more blonde, and Tina's hair Tina's got a bit more hair now. Hannah seems to be growing her hair back a bit, and John still hasn't changed his hair much, and Bradley is getting a lot more dreadlocks, and Paul has gone back to the short hair that he had at the start of the series. And obviously he is now gone, but you know. So, all in all, I think Viva S Club is a brilliant series. I think it's a fantastic show. Would I call it my favourite season? No, I wouldn't. I think my favourite season out of all 4 seasons is Hollywood 7, purely because the stories it basically showed the S Club living the lives they wanted to live, fame and fortune. But this time, they're actually having to find that fame and fortune all over again. But it was still very much enjoyable. And the stories they had were pretty cool. Like, I know there were some good stories, like the ones I mentioned, like Spanish John and stuff like that. And there were also others like Hannah getting freaked out over some superstitions, or Rachel dashing to find Tina a birthday present. And in the finale, they do finally head back to England. They actually commandeer a boat that was originally heading to Egypt, and for the first time in 4 seasons, they finally head back to England, which I think is what they've been wanting to do throughout the entire series. And of course, the music as well, absolutely incredible as always. A personal favourite of mine would have to be Discotheque, because it's quite a funky song, I guess you could say. And it's still very much enjoyable. Like I said, It's all available on YouTube if you want to go and see it. And I will put a link down in the description for the playlist. Sadly, there were no more specials, but I do know that there is a movie that came out after the year after Viva S Club called Seeing Double. No relation to the album. But I have yet to check that out. I've not seen it yet. But once I do, a review on that will probably come in the future. So, all in all, Viva S Club, great season. And just to recap, Miami 7, great season. LA 7, great season. Hollywood 7, the best season. So there you guys have it. That is the end of the S Club 7 series review. And I had a lot of fun with this. I had a lot of fun talking about this show that I was recently introduced to and ended up absolutely loving. And I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts about it. Let me know in the comments what your favourite S Club 7 series is. And if you guys have any other ideas for any future S Club videos I could do, please let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you next time. So take care, everyone.